pages of a book, it's time for Nikki's Nook.
Woo! Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to my Nook. My name is Nikki. On today's very first episode of Nikki's Nook, we're going to be reading All Hallows Even with an Oddball Monster by Matt Willows. Now, first, we need to take a comfy seat before we read our book. Where did my seat go? I think I know how to fix that. There we go, that's so much better. Let's have a seat. All right, now we can read our book. One sec. There it is. All Hallows Even with an Oddball Monster by Matt Willows.
A cool breeze blew through the trees, rattling branches and rustling leaves. It danced to the corner of Jack-o'-lantern Drive, then crawled up the steps to House 1809 and planted a kiss on Edgar's cheek. Edgar loves fall. It's his favorite time of year. The colors are changing, the weather is rearranging, and his annual Halloween party is finally here. Edgar wanted this year's party to be the very best, one that was better than all the rest. This year's theme will be All Hallows Even, a perfect pair for a Halloween evening. With zero time to waste, Edgar got to work. He started with 2 bowls of punch, Tricky Treat and Cinnamon Munch. He made 4 cackling witches with wrinkles and warts. They had brooms, pointy hats, a cauldron, black cat. Well, hey, boo. And other witchy things and sorts. He placed 6 fancy skeletons dancing in pairs beneath the 8-legged spider hanging by the stairs. Edgar strung 10 glowing ghosts all through his yard, and he thought carving 12 pumpkins couldn't be that hard. 14 bats hung napping beneath the window, above the 16 tombstones in Edgar's garden by the scarecrow. Edgar chose 18 records to play through the night, some to oogie, some to boogie, some to spook, and to fright. He went to the kitchen to grab his mittens and throw on his Halloween smock. He whipped up 20 tasty muffins and tossed them in the oven. Then, suddenly, there came a knock. Thump, thump, thump. Could it be that one of his guests arrived a bit early? A bird? The mailman? Or his nagging neighbor Shirley? The knock came again, but louder. Thump, thump. Edgar was getting nervous. Very nervous. Edgar opened the door, expecting a friend, but instead there reached out a large hairy hand. I'm scared too. Edgar was frozen, stunned, amazed. The creature's shadow covered the floor. It had 1 snaggled tooth, 3 fingered hands, a 5-foot tail, a blind eye, and a broken horn. 7 black spots crawled down its back. It looked very hungry. Was Edgar its next snack? Finally, the monster spoke.
Hello, my name is Oddball. Is this the party creatures talk about each fall?
Edgar muttered yes to his uninvited guest.
You must be Edgar then.
Oddball said with a grin. Then he ducked through the door and stomped his way in.
This place ain't bad, but it's far too even. A few odd changes should do the trick. We can fix this place up, but we need to be quick.
Edgar went to speak, but nothing came out, and Oddball was off to see the rest of the house.
I've traveled quite far, and I've got quite a thirst. I'm down for a chat, but I'll need some punch first.
Oddball grabbed one bowl, as if it were small as a mug, and gulped it all down in just 3 monstrous chugs. Chug, chug, chug. A magical smell filled Oddball's nose.
Muffins.
He drooled.
Those look quite delicious. How did you know what my favorite dish is?
Edgar tried to warn him that the muffins were still hot, but Oddball devoured 9 right there on the spot.
You know, witches are one of a monster's best friends, but this pink one on the end just doesn't fit in. She sparkles more like a pixie to me. Besides, witches are odd, and there should only be 3.
Oddball dressed her up with some wild fairy wings and shrank her down to just a tiny little thing. Oddball explained that even ghosts need a pet, so he made a ghost dog and named him Lafayette. Oddball pulled a leg off the spider by the stairs, yelling,
"Who's a good boy? Go fetch over there."
Poor Edgar stood, shocked as the ghosts were now 11, and his 8-legged spider was now left with only 7.
You can't have bats that just hang upside down. Let's make 'em sing, make 'em dance, make 'em flap all around.
Oddball gave a fearsome roar that sent all the bats flying and shook the roof, walls, and floor. Oddball saw the jack-o'-lanterns that Edgar had carved so neat.
We've got to smash one so monster pie we can eat.
With one hard swing, the tombstones were now 15, and Edgar's favorite pumpkin was smashed to smithereens. Oddball snatched Edgar's smock, grabbing a bowl and a whisk.
Time for monster pie. Can you read me off the list?
Monster pie, 1 smashed pumpkin, 3 cinnamon sticks, 5 cups of sugar skulls, 7 pinches of witch's ick, 9 spoons of werewolf honey, 11 dashes of spider silk, 13 raven eggs, 15 ounces of mummy's milk, 17 drops of treats and tricks, 19 stirs to blend the mix. Oddball whisked the batter without the slightest of care. He left monster pie guts and hair everywhere. Oddball heard music from the record machine.
A record is nice, but a band is what we need.
Oddball took 1 skeleton and broke it into parts, using the bones to make instruments, such as drums, mics, and guitars. Oddball snapped his fingers as all the props came to life.
I give to you all the new Crypt Keeper 5.
This is it, Edgar thought as the time was finally here. The taps at the door were Edgar's worst fear. What will they think? Edgar softly sighed. As he walked towards the door, a tear filled his eye. Edgar knew his party was crashed. Everything was changed, and everything was trashed. What were 2s, 4s, and 6s were now 1s, 3s, and 5s. How would he explain the 9-foot monster inside? The guests were all lined up, They arrived right on time. There were the vampires, the McMummies, Mr. Frank, and Miss Stein. Then came Bob Zombie, the Wolfmanes, Gordon, and Gouline. They were all Edgar's guests on this Halloween. Guest by guest, they all came inside, expecting the worst. Edgar thought he might hide. But that's when he got a final surprise. What do you think it is, boys and girls? Let's find out. Edgar heard the sounds of oohs, ahs, and laughs. His guests were all raving. This party's a blast. Edgar couldn't believe it. The monster pie was a hit. Oddball winked to say, I never doubted it a bit. The guests all loved Edgar's odd party decor. They ate all the pie, so Oddball made more. Soon the time came for Edgar's friends to say goodnight. All of them left happy, stuffed with punch, muffins, and pie. Oddball, too, made his way to the door.
I'm sorry, Edgar, if I caused a stir. It was your party to plan, and I should have asked first.
It's okay, Oddball. I'm sorry, too. I shouldn't have been so quick to judge you. They agreed. Even or odd doesn't matter at the end. All that mattered is that they both made a friend. Edgar leaped, giving the monster a hug. Oddball hugged him back, even tighter and snug. And then a cool breeze blew through the trees, rattling branches and rustling leaves. As Oddball walked away from House 1809, Edgar didn't want to tell him goodbye. So instead, he said, with a monstrous ring, I can't wait to see you next Halloween. The end. Wow, Boo, that was really a great story. I'm really gonna have to try that monster pie recipe. What do you think? Well, boys and girls, it is my time to sign off. Thank you so much for joining me on our first episode of Nikki's Nook. I cannot wait to go on more fun adventures with you next time. Thanks for reading with me. If you like today's book, you can purchase your own copy by clicking on the link in the description below. While you're down there, go on ahead and give this video a like and subscribe for future videos. Comment below as well what you want me to read next. You can follow me as well on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Until next time, on Nikki's Nook.